championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021. Max Verstappen, for the first time ever, is champion of the world.
He's not leaving, but does Verstappen still trust Red Bull? Max Verstappen has officially confirmed he's staying at Red Bull for the 2026 Formula One season. But here's the real question. Is this a bold vote of confidence, or is he simply out of options? The reigning champion has endured a frustrating 2025 campaign, plagued by car issues and performance inconsistencies that have left him battling, not dominating. And while rumors of talks with Mercedes swirled, nothing materialized. So why stay? Is Red Bull still the best team, or just the least risky one as the new regulations approach? This isn't just about loyalty, it's about strategy, doubt, and the unknown future of F1. 1. From rumors to reality, Verstappen commits to Red Bull for 2026. After months of speculation, it's official. Max Verstappen will remain with Red Bull Racing for the 2026 season.
But for me, it's always been quite clear. And also for next year, I'm discussing with the team already the plans, the things that we want to change for next year. So that means that I'm also staying with the team for next year.
The announcement came just days after the Belgian Grand Prix, where his points tally made his performance clause untriggerable, effectively locking him in, while his long-term contract with Red Bull already runs until 2028. That deal included annual performance-based exit clauses. For 2025, he could have opted out if he had fallen outside the top 3 in the championship by the summer break. But thanks to a strong weekend at Spa and a widening gap to rivals like George Russell, Verstappen couldn't be caught. That closed the door, at least for 2026. On the surface, this looks like a clear endorsement of Red Bull. But dig a little deeper, and it's not so straightforward. Verstappen staying may be less about confidence in his team, and more about uncertainty elsewhere. With the new 2026 regulations looming, even the top teams are venturing into unknown territory, making any switch a risky leap of faith. Second performance clause. Closed, but is that why he's staying? Verstappen's contract includes a unique performance clause, one that allows him to walk away if he's underperforming by mid-season. For 2025, the trigger was simple. Fall outside the top 3 by the Hungarian Grand Prix, and he'd be free to leave. But after a gritty performance in Belgium, winning the sprint and finishing 4th in the main race, he had a 28-point cushion over George Russell. With just 25 points available per Grand Prix win, the math made it impossible for him to drop out of the top 3 by the deadline. That sounds like a solid reason to stay, except Verstappen has been underwhelmed this season. Red Bull's once-dominant car has suffered major aerodynamic inconsistencies, and their engine development seems to have plateaued. Max has looked frustrated at times, and paddock insiders say he's been weighing his options. The real reason he's staying may not be about belief in Red Bull. It might just be that the clause closed before he could make a clean break. Third, Verstappen's decline. Red Bull's 2025 troubles exposed. Red Bull isn't the juggernaut it once was. After dominating in 2023 and cruising through much of 2024, the cracks have shown in 2025. Verstappen has struggled with reliability issues, poor tire management, and a car that simply doesn't perform well on certain tracks. The once flawless RB chassis has shown unpredictable handling, and their engine, developed in-house for the future regulation shift, has yet to deliver consistent results. For Verstappen, the frustration has been palpable. He's lashed out on the radio, questioned strategy decisions, and walked out of press briefings with his trademark icy silence. The wins haven't come easy this year, and more importantly, neither have the podiums. In past seasons, even a bad weekend meant second place. In 2025, it sometimes means finishing outside the top 5. This decline isn't just about poor form. It's about confidence, Red Bull's and Verstappen's. The reigning champion knows what it takes to win, and right now, he's not convinced his team still has the magic formula. For a repeat of 2024? Max's growing frustration with the car. Verstappen's dissatisfaction didn't start in 2025. It was already bubbling beneath the surface in the second half of 2024. Red Bull began slipping from its dominance, with Ferrari and McLaren gaining ground. While Verstappen still clinched wins, they weren't commanding. The RB20 was twitchy, overly sensitive to wind and track temperature, and struggled with tire degradation during long stints. Heading into 2025, Red Bull promised fixes, but the issues remained, and in some areas, worsened. The new hybrid package, intended to test 2026 technology, added complexity without consistency. Verstappen's qualifying pace has faltered, forcing him to fight from the midfield more often than he'd like. The biggest concern for Max is development stagnation. Updates haven't yielded expected improvements, and rivals are catching up fast. Add in a few questionable strategy calls and internal reshuffling post-Horner, and Verstappen's patience has been stretched thin. He may be staying at Red Bull for now, but the growing friction suggests he's not doing it with full conviction. 5. No safe bet. Why Max can't jump ship yet. If Max Verstappen wanted to leave Red Bull, he couldn't. At least, not confidently. With the sweeping 2026 regulations approaching, no team can guarantee performance. Mercedes is rebuilding, Ferrari is inconsistent, McLaren is rising, and Aston Martin is a wild card with its Honda partnership. The new era will see different engines, aerodynamics, and energy recovery systems. That's an unpredictable cocktail, even for top engineers. Verstappen thrives on certainty. He's a driver who bets on the fastest car, not the biggest contract. And right now, no one knows which team will nail the 2026 rulebook. Jumping to Mercedes or Aston might offer short-term change, but could backfire if they misfire development. Even Red Bull's success isn't guaranteed, but staying offers continuity. Verstappen remains close to the team's inner circle, has some influence on car development, and at least understands the system. That makes Red Bull the least worst option for 2026, not necessarily the best, but the safest bet until the fog lifts on F1's next chapter. 6. Red Bull's 2026 engine gamble and what Max really thinks. Red Bull's boldest move for 2026 isn't just driver-related, it's under the hood. Their first ever fully in-house power unit will debut under the new regulations, and while the ambition is impressive, it's also untested. Verstappen has voiced cautious optimism, but hasn't shied away from raising concerns about reliability and power delivery in early simulations. Insiders say Max is closely monitoring progress, even requesting detailed updates from the engine department. He knows if Red Bull nails this, they'll stay on top. But if they fall behind, there's no customer engine to fall back on. For a performance-obsessed driver like Max, that gamble is massive. He's all in. For now.
Verstappen has gone, coming out of the first chicane. Side by side they run for the lead of the Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen takes the lead, and the man who's chasing a perfect 10 is P1.
But he's keeping his escape options wide open for 2027. 7. Whispers in the paddock. What happened with Mercedes talks? Talks between Verstappen's camp and Mercedes definitely happened, but they fizzled before anything serious could materialize. Reports suggest Toto Wolff made inquiries about 2026, especially during Red Bull's mid-season slump. But ultimately, two factors got in the way: uncertainty over Mercedes' 2026 package and the sheer cost of buying Max out of his Red Bull contract. The buyout fee was reportedly sky-high, and neither side was willing to push for a costly gamble. While Max was intrigued by Mercedes' pitch, especially the idea of rebuilding a dynasty, he wasn't convinced they'd deliver a competitive car straight away. Without a clear performance edge or a safe exit from Red Bull, the talks stayed just that, talks. The door isn't shut for 2027, though. 8. Is this a partnership of convenience or real trust? Verstappen's relationship with Red Bull is complex. On one hand, it's built on years of success, loyalty, and mutual respect. On the other, recent frustrations and strategic disagreements have introduced visible tension. The new team boss, Laurent Mekies, has worked to rebuild trust, involving Max more directly in 2026 development and smoothing communication. But trust isn't just about dialogue, it's about performance. Verstappen expects results, and when the team underdelivers, his confidence wavers. The real test will come if Red Bull's 2026 car struggles early on. Will Max still believe in the long-term vision, or will the cracks deepen? For now, they're sticking together, but it's starting to feel less like love and more like a high-stakes business arrangement. 9. Inside Red Bull, can the team still deliver for their star? Red Bull knows what's at stake. They're not just fighting rivals, they're fighting to keep the driver who defines their modern legacy. Verstappen has made it clear, he stays if the car is fast. Simple. The engineering team is under pressure to deliver a competitive 2026 package that satisfies both performance and reliability. Mekies, still earning his stripes, must also manage team politics post-Horner and balance driver expectations. Verstappen is no longer a young talent waiting his turn. He's a global superstar with options. If Red Bull can't give him a title-contending car in the new era, they risk losing more than just races. They risk losing the very figure who made their domination possible. The countdown has begun. 10. Stuck or strategic? Verstappen's long game for 2027 and beyond. Verstappen's decision to stay isn't about blind loyalty. It's a strategic pause. He knows 2026 is a wild card season, and staying at Red Bull buys him time and control. His exit clause for 2027 activates if he's outside the top 2 next summer, meaning the real move could come then if Red Bull stumbles. By sitting tight, he gets first-row access to the performance landscape before committing to his future. Whether it's Mercedes, Aston Martin, or even a surprise contender, Max wants the winning car, nothing less. And if you've made it this far, clearly you're as deep in the F1 drama as we are, so why not join the team? Hit subscribe before Max changes teams faster than you change tabs.